Today we're going to rebuild this Marzocchi Bomber Junior T. This applies to all the ones between 2004 and 2006. Some tools you're going to need are some clip pliers, some needle nose pliers, a custom 12mm socket. I'll get to that later. Adjustable wrench, some Allen keys, and a pick. And remember, with Marzocchi casting numbers like right here, you just add a year. So this one says 04, but it's really an 05. And first thing you want to do is just loosen up these top caps counterclockwise all the way. This is going to relieve all the pressure from the springs and make it easier to take apart. And now just unscrew your top caps. By the way, the arch, you don't need to take it apart, just leave it alone, and unless you have any distorted bolts or cracked arches. And now first, just remove this washer here. Now there's going to be another plastic pipe, and then there's going to be a spring in there. Just grab it and pull it out. And now it's time to drain the oil, so I got my big bucket here. And when you pour out the oil, you'll have two big springs fall out and two of these little washers, unless they stuck to the other springs. Anyway, I already poured most of the oil out of this fork earlier, so here they go. Just grab the springs, don't let them fall in there, like so. And remember, when you drain the oil, you can put it in a small container and see if it has any water contamination or dirt. And now just flip the fork over, and on the bottom, there's this 2mm Allen key screw right here for the rebound knob. Just unscrew that and pop it off. All right, now comes the time to take off these two little bolts on the bottom. And of course, because Marzocchi is evil, if you get a regular 12mm socket, it fits on here, it does not go in because of this black flanger out here. Now, of course, they could have made this a little bit larger so you can fit one of these in. They want you to buy their own tool, but they don't even make that tool anymore. So what you have to do is get your own socket, and you have to grind it down until it's very thin so it fits on here. I do this to like a cheap one that you don't care about. So yeah, there you go. And real quick, I'm just gonna show you how wide it should be. So I'm measuring here about 15.3mm. This one fits in pretty snug. So if you want to grind one down, that's about how much it should be. So now if you've loosened your foot nuts and they just keep spinning all over again, that means the damper inside of the fork is spinning with it. So what you want to do, you want to compress it down all the way like this. You want to grab two of your springs, and as you're turning it, you want to get the spring and compress it down. All this tension is going to be put onto that damper, and it's going to stop it from spinning. So yeah, just compress it like this while you're unscrewing it, and hopefully they'll come off. There you go. And here we go. That first damper rod fell in. Now we just grab this one, unscrews. Yeah, there's the second damper rod. It should just go in like that. And now once you got the foot nuts off, the lowers should just slide right off. All right, now with the lowers off, we're gonna focus on these stanchions and getting the damper rods out of them. So first we got two clips, one right here and right here, perfectly identical. Grab your clip remover right here, or you can also grab a pick and go from the side. Ideally, you should have one of these. These are pretty cheap. They're like, I don't know, $5. Just grab it, push it in, pop out the clip like so. So now we're gonna do that on both sides. And now the damper should just come right out. There we go. Now these seals are also leaking, so we are going to replace them. It's a larger 32mm stanchion fork, so we're going to use this 19mm wrench. Pop out these wiper seals first. And now finally we have our bomber clips. These are fairly easy to remove. Just grab a pick, kind of go in that little flange. They're not very tough clips, so just pop them out like that. And just pop them up. Do the same to the other side. And then just slowly go around, popping it up, and boom, there we go. Now they're out. And now finally we got the oil seals. These can be a little harder to take out. Again, you can go ham on them if you're not gonna reuse them, which I don't recommend. If you're gonna reuse the seals, I would just leave them in the fork. I wouldn't screw around with them because you're gonna damage them, I guarantee it. And then, so yeah, For these, I would just use like a smaller wrench, like a 15 or a 14. There we go. And now once you got the seal off, there's also a little washer. Just pop that out as well. There you go. Okay, now we have everything all nice and taken apart. And now we have one final little optional thing here. There's this clip that goes right over there where that damper rod is. You don't have to take it off. It just goes in that little groove right there. And just make sure this thing goes up and down nice and smoothly. And yeah, that's it. And now I'd also recommend to take apart this top cap. You don't have to do it, but if you have dirt in here, I'd recommend doing it, or if it moves like slow or anything. So yeah, all you need is Allen key. Just pop off this little tiny screw, bolt, whatever it's called. Pop it off like this. Take that out. And then there's this clip here. You want to grab some pliers. This clip is very tight, so you want to do this very slowly, but you want to put pressure in the right spot like that. Pop that out, and then you want to grab your pick. And I lost a clip. Anyway, pop this down, and this thing will just unscrew. You got to screw it in to unscrew it like this. There you go. And now, yeah, now you have everything taken apart. And yeah, just clean this off nice and good with some alcohol. And yeah, when you put it back together, I recommend putting some oil on the threads. In this case, it's going to be 7.5 weight. So yeah, there you go. All right, so now, yeah, just grab some oil. Just put a little bit on these threads here, like so. I just put some in the cap and then go like this. And screw it back in. Remember, it goes in backwards like this, and then like so, and then just screw it up until about here. Remember, this O-ring has to get past there as well. So pop this in, mesh it together, and then just kind of pop it up like that. Make sure you hear the click. I also put a little bit of oil around this area so this thing can slide on nice and smooth. This little top piece, yeah, pull it up like this so there's enough room for the clip, and grab the clip and slide it on. You want to go vertically like this with your pliers, and then just go slowly. I somehow found this clip, thank God. There we go, we got the clip on. Now we grab this. You want to match up the little, there's going to be a little stop right there, the little indentation with this thing. I went, cinch it back up, there you go. And you want to just tighten it just nice and snug. There we go. Now just make sure it moves nice and smoothly. There you go. Now you rebuilt your top cap. All right, now it's time to clean. For all these parts, for the metal stuff, you want to use some kind of cleaner like alcohol, acetone, brake cleaner, something nice though to get all the oil and dirt off. But you want to make sure you don't get near the rubber seals on those, because that could crack or damage them. And now for the lowers and the stanchions, over here, there's always like oil, maybe a little bit of dirt inside of there. So you want to run a paper towel or something through there and get all that out. I usually like to just wad up a paper towel like this and put some acetone on it, and then run it through with some of these pliers or like a flathead screwdriver to get it in nice and good. Okay, so now we have everything all nice and cleaned down. Also, remember on these damper rods, this little end cap that you can unscrew all the way out like this, and you can clean it out if there's more dirt in there. And this little slider with this spring come out as well. And you can, if it's super dirty, you can also unscrew that little other nut right here, and you can take this whole damper rod out. Okay, now time to talk about replacement parts. For this, of course, we have the wiper and seal kit. I have like a new old stock one here. And for the new one, I have a link in the description, of course, with the kit. And remember, you can use my code RETROREV for 10% off everything on the SRP website except for tires. And remember, any other seals or parts that'll be for this fork, even in the future, should be listed there. And now time to put the seals in. You want to make sure this area is all nice and clean. Then I like to put a little bit of oil in here. Again, we're using that 7.5 stuff. And yeah, first thing, just grab your big washer. Make sure it's clean and slide it in. Then we have our oil seal. These came pre-lubricated. So yeah, just drop those in like so. And we also have, all right, so now we got the oil seal in. Make sure you lubricate the outside just a little bit to help it slide in better. Annoyingly, my $60 seal press doesn't even fit in there. It just hits the side of the stanchion and it kind of just bottoms out there. But what does fit is the cap to the oil. This is actually a very common little hack. You can just use the cap like this, fits perfectly, and you can check if it's straight or not. Check So yeah, if you do have the same Spectrum golden oil, which is the best oil for bombers, yeah, just get the cap and you can see it's perfectly straight like that. And then just pop it off and now just pop in your little M clip. All right, now we got the M clip in. This is how it should look like. There you go. Now grab the wiper seal, slide it on, and now we can use our actual press for this. All right, now the wiper seal is on. There we go. And on this side, I found a little hack. When the cap is about flush with the lowers, that's when you know it's down far enough where you can put the clip into the groove and there's enough room for it. So there you go. All right, now it's time to put in the two damper rods and the one with the rebound adjuster, this one right here. This one goes on the left side of the fork right here on this leg if you're looking at it straight on like this. So grab it, make sure you have the right side. So now we get the left stanchion here from the front. Grab your damper. Again, I just pre-lubricated this a little bit with oil, but remember this is an open bath fork, so everything's going to be lubricated once we put the oil in a moment. So yeah, put it all the way down like this. Now we just grab our clip and clip it in. There we go. And same exact story for the other side. All right, now we got the fork all nice and hoisted up. We got these damper rods hanging down right here. Again, we have the rebound one on the left. And now just for shits and giggles, I put some Saran butter on the wiper seals as well as the bushings and the oil seals down there. And some on the stanchions just to eliminate wear right when we put the fork together. Just grab your lowers and just slide them on. There you go. All right, now once you got the lowers on, just slide them up. All right, so now once you got the lowers on, you want to make sure the wiper seals aren't folded over or kinked in any way. You want to make sure they're sitting in there just smoothly and even. And then just push it up all the way until the minimum setting right here. And make sure the damper rods are sticking out. This one kind of likes to go down a lot, so just kind of bring it up with pliers or just flip the fork upside down and screw it in that way. I'm just doing it this way so you guys can see. And now make sure you have your washers. You want to slide these on. These go into the little groove where the fork is. Make sure they go all the way down like that. Now I have a rebound adjuster foot nut right here, and go ahead and screw it on. When you screw it on, you want to kind of pull up at the same time because the damper rod's going to want to come down. So, and if the damper rod starts moving, again, you can use that hack I showed you at the start. You see the damper rod's moving with the nut. You just put those springs in there, compress them in, and that'll stop the damper rod from moving, and you can get these on nice and good. And yeah, once you got these foot nuts on, remember you do not want these very tight because the nuts are aluminum and the damper rods are aluminum. That will strip very easily. You want these just to be snug. You don't want to tighten them at all. The correct torque for these is only 10 Newton meters, and my torque, it doesn't even go that low. So just make sure they're snug and don't over tighten them. All right, now grab your little rebound adjuster knob, slide it on there, and screw on the little screw. There we go. And same as the foot nuts, just screw on the screw until it's snug. Yeah, this rebound adjuster should turn about 6 times all the way around, 360. So I would just do like 3 turns in and have it right in the middle for when you put the oil in. All right, now it's time for the oil. First thing you want to do is just make sure you got the lowers, just push them all the way down. And then I like to do this before I put the springs in, just kind of make sure they're out of the way. Now we have our 7.5 oil. You want 260 cc's or milliliters in each leg. I know that's a lot, but this thing's a pretty thirsty fork, so it needs a bunch. So here we go. All right, now that the oil is in, just make sure it's not dripping out of the foot nuts at the bottom, and just cycle around the lowers for a few times. Make sure they don't leak out the seals, and just make sure it's moving nice and smooth. Get all the air bubbles out of there. Now we got our springs. We got a long one and we got a shorter one. I'd put the longer one in first. And then we also have our washer next. You want to have one of these Just pop that one in. You want to make sure it's sitting flat on the top of that other spring. Then you want to have your shorter spring, slide it in. Have your second washer, one of these, pop it in. Again, make sure it's sitting flat. You don't want it crooked, that would damage stuff. And then you have one of these little spacer things, pop that in. And finally, you have your top cap. Make sure it's on the loosest setting just to make it easier for you to screw in. And yeah, there you go. And yeah, just tighten down those top caps. Again, you don't want them super tight. The manual says 10 Newton meters, which is nothing. Just make sure they're snug. And if you're wondering, they take a 21 mil socket. All right, there you go. Now you got yourself a fully rebuilt Bomber Junior T. After you're done, make sure to just cycle it around a few times. Make sure it's all moving nice and smoothly. And for the tray on top, I like to add some of this fork boost lube onto the seals just to make them a little softer and move a little smoother. It really helps and highly recommend it. Not sponsored, by the way. So yeah, I hope you found this video useful, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.